All right, so real quick before this episode starts, I just wanted to say I'm really sorry about the audio. My mic sounds super terrible, and Marquan's mic is like kind of it has like this crackle going on. We tried to fix it, and I thought it was better than it was. Anyways, this is my first time doing an interview like this. I was doing it over Zoom. Will not be doing that again. Cut me a little bit of slack. But anyways, hope you guys do enjoy it and get some value out of this episode. I had a really fun time recording it. I think Marquan did as well. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the episode. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
So, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Service-Based Business Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Moreland. I am joined here today for the first time ever with like a proper guest interview. Marquan Harper. I assume that's what you can.
What's going on?
Yeah. So Marquan, I go to school with him, so he's my boy. But you do a lot of different things. He's a DJ. You do make your own music. You do photography and you do videography. So, and those are like that's a lot. So, so
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, if there's anything else, kind of introduction, kind of your story that you wanna like start off sharing that with us.
Well, first off, thank you, Ben. I didn't know you had a podcast until like 2 weeks ago. So this is sick. I love it. My name is Marquan Harper. I'm 16. I'm from St. Paul. I live in Frogtown. I'm a DJ, musician, and I honestly like to group everything else in the term of just saying I'm an entrepreneur for the most part. I do a lot of things, and I like to say I do them well, and I love doing them. Some of those things, like Ben said, like I do photography, videography, marketing, but it's like, just I love technology for the most part. That's the main thing. I love technology. I love messing around, trying new things, and of course developing those skills into attributes to where I can, of course, be to service of other people, and then eventually get to a place where you can make money from it. So it's been something that I've been doing since I was a kid. I've always loved entrepreneurship and trying to make money from doing things I love and things that are creative. So that's kind of how I got my love for it all. So
Right.
yeah.
Would you? I didn't put this on like the question list, but would you say that like entrepreneurship has been something that you've just like always like been interested in, or would you say kind of like is it nature or nurture for you?
Ever since I was just young, I just had an entrepreneurial spirit, and I just really loved I'm a go-getter. I don't take no for an answer. I'm gonna go get what I deserve and what I want. So I think that nature of like never saying no and always wanting to, strive for excellence and things around the lines of that kind of made it so where it was like entrepreneurship was so I don't know, easy for me. It was like it's like God given almost, I think. It was just like second nature, almost like what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like I've tried to like look and see like if it was something that like I learned, but I've never really had anything that's like I like learned it by any like I've always just been kind of that same like entrepreneurial way. So yeah, kind of on to the next like question I really had was how could someone start being a DJ? Like if it's something that they are, have maybe been interested in, they've been doing a little research, what would you say is like the way to start?
That's a good question. Well, I actually have had some other people ask me like, well, how did you like start DJing, and then how did you start turning it into a business and all these other things? But number one thing I have to say to anyone who's interested in honestly doing anything is one, if you know somebody who already does it, ask them questions. And then two, if you don't and you want to learn it, there's a free resource on the internet called YouTube. That's where I learned pretty much most of my stuff about DJing, music production, photography, all of that. YouTube. I'm not saying YouTube is necessarily the best place to go. Like I think going one-to-one with a person or someone who's already doing it is way better. By all means, if you know somebody who's a DJ, pick their brain, ask them how to DJ. But for me, I was a young kid and I was like, I want to do this. I don't know how. Someone search up on YouTube. And there's actually some great fundamental things you can learn on YouTube. Now, I think there's certain things that YouTube can't necessarily teach you, like having a wide music taste and
Mhm.
knowing how to change genres quickly and reading a room, and certain things are kind of instinctual and you get over time with DJing. I don't think YouTube can really teach you that. But I will say, if you just picked up a brand new DJ controller and you're like, I don't know how to use this thing, by all means, go on YouTube, search up how to EQ, how to use the jog wheel, how to fade in songs, right? You know, how to use BPMs, key, you know, it goes way broader than that. But
Mhm.
really dive deep into the resources you have. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
But I will say, um, in your local area, there might be places where you can go to get extra help and assistance. Right now, there's this place in Minneapolis called Slam Academy. And I'm working on becoming like a part of a co-op. It's pretty much like a music production and DJing co-op for like dance music and stuff along the lines of that, electronic music. And they have instructors there. I've gone to 2 sessions so far. I did 2 music production sessions. I worked on a song in that session. They helped me out with some really good things. It's really good to get a second ear on things. And then I'm still due for 2 DJ courses that I still need to go to. So places like Slam Academy. I even know like some guitar centers. They do like DJ lessons and stuff like that. Um, I think now you might even be able to go to some music stores and get DJ lessons, because I think DJing is becoming something that's a lot more popular now. So, you know, you just gotta look around really. But I really recommend first going to people that you know, second going online, going on YouTube, and then third like private lessons and instruction. Because if you put, I mean, think about if you put all 3 of those together,
Mhm.
and that's what I kind of did. I know people who have DJed, I asked a lot of questions and stuff. You put all those together, you'll be able to get in a good place. That's just for the fundamentals of DJing. The business part is like on the side.
Mhm. Kind of like to pivot into that business side. When it comes to like, your expenses, your income sources or income revenues, what is that for like a DJing business? What does that kind of look like?
It really depends, because your overhead for DJing could be very little or a lot very easily. Equipment isn't cheap, man. You know, with now in times, with like, think about just the chip shortages just alone,
Mhm.
So we're talking like, speakers, and you need your controllers and your compute and all that stuff. That's all super expensive right now. But in general, like there's a couple things you need to DJ, and I'll just say like a basic overhead, right? So let's say you're gonna need a computer. And even if you don't use a computer to DJ itself and you use a controller that has built-in computers, you're still gonna need a computer to get your music. You're still gonna need a computer to organize and all that type of stuff. You're gonna need a computer. Um, you're gonna need your DJ controller itself. That's the tactile controller that you use to pretty much control the music and all that type of stuff. A DJ controller can range, I think, anywhere as basic as to like $80 to like, and some of the ones that are like $80, you don't even need a computer, you need like a phone to use it. So like it could be like $80 to like thousands on
Mhm.
thousands of dollars. So I recommend starting within the like $300 to $400 range, or even cheaper than that. I don't think you need to start off with like my controller. Like my controller is like $1,000. So I wouldn't recommend starting off with what I have. I wouldn't want to start with what I had, because it's just a lot to take
Mhm.
in. So you got the controller. Now you're gonna need music. Now I'm saying music in the way of legally getting music. So that's not going and just downloading music from YouTube and that type of stuff. You're gonna go on Beatport. You're gonna go on Beatport, and you're gonna find, that's what I use because I'm an electronic music DJ for the most part. So I get a lot of my music from Beatport. I can buy it there. And or Beatport, you're gonna go on a record pool. A record pool is pretty much like a place where you have, it's like the Spotify for DJs. You pay a subscription fee, and with a subscription fee, you can download millions of songs, and you can keep them forever. And it's the legal way to do it, right?
Mhm.
So you have multiple pools. There's hundreds of pools. The one I mainly use is BPM Supreme. It's really good. I recommend it. It has a great open format, uh, sources of different type of music. So you're gonna need a pool. Um, but of course, you're gonna need speakers. Okay, there's many ways you can get speakers. One, you can rent them. I when I was in my renting phase, I rented from a place called Metro Sound and Lighting. It's literally, I mean, like if you're in the Minnesota Twin Cities area, it's right on University. Um, Local audio shop, amazing people. It's a great store. They just do such a good job. So going there, I rented a lot of times, and really to rent it would cost me like what $100 for the weekend.
Okay.
So that's like your overhead for rental. Um, Plus a couple $100 for your controller. You're like your $20 to $30 fee for your pool, and then the cost of your computer. That's somewhere I assume like, just by the computer itself would probably be somewhere in the thousands. Um, but you don't need all of that to really just start doing it by yourself in your basement or in your bedroom. That's what you kind of need to go to do what I do as a mobile DJ. So like overhead, I think like a basic overhead could start anywhere to I can say honestly, you could go. I mean, if you get a cheap computer, you could say like $800 to $1,000, and then it could go up to literally what mine is, which is pretty much like I say like 3,000 or 2,000. Not honestly 4,000 because my computer's kind of expensive. But yeah. So when you think about that too, you gotta also factor in making your money back, so the revenue. So it really depends about how you charge. Now, if you just came out your bedroom, right, and you're just starting to play gigs, I do not recommend you start charging what someone that has done it for years would charge. You gotta start somewhere. So really, when I started, it was cheap. And then eventually I got like to like a solid place. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do like $100 an hour for the most part. And then from there, I got a lot more like corporate and business of gigs. I was like, okay, well, these people have some more money. And it's not just about them having more money. You just get to know what you're doing because it's not work for them. You know what I mean? Like what I was charging, like $250 an hour doesn't mean nothing to them. They're like, oh, you're gonna give us music for $250 an hour? You know what I mean? Like and then usually you're like, okay, well then I'm gonna pay you for 4 hours. That's $1,000 that you make right there. So when you get to the place where it's getting like that, that's really decent. Now like if you're talking like the people that are going to the clubs and doing all that, they get paid even more. But to be someone that is like, I would say honestly, like an intermediate level, if you're charging anywhere from $100 to $200 an hour, I mean that's like kudos to you. That's pretty good because you gotta think about it. If you're paying $100 to rent your speakers, right? You do 1 hour a gig, that's your speakers out the way. The rest of it is profit because let's say you already bought your DJ controller, you already bought your computer, you already bought all the other stuff, right? You're already paying for your pool. So the rest of that is going to be profit you can go into. Then, all right, let's say I do 5-6 gigs, right? I save up some money. I want to go buy some speakers, right? So I spend what $2,000, $3,000 on some speakers. Then the overhead is all taken care of. I don't have to go rent speakers somewhere. I got the speakers I can buy. It's like building up your arsenal, Mm-hmm. That's the biggest way to think about it. Because you can have one piece of the pie, and then you get another piece of the pie, and you just keep building it up until you have more. And you're going to get to the place where you're going to be like, okay, well, I've grown out with $1,000 controller. I want to go buy the super expensive CDJs. And those are like $4,000 for one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends about where you are in your, in the profession. Because if you're just starting, I don't recommend you go out and spend $1,000. But if you're like, I'm in the game, I know what I'm doing, then go ahead. If you have the money and you're gonna make it back, that's the number one thing. If you're not gonna make it back, don't do it. But if you can make it back and you have a plan to make it back, go ahead. So yeah, that's kind of like the money part. That was a very long tangent and rant, but I wanted to make sure I didn't leave any of it kind of like unspoken on. So
definitely, yeah. All right, so kind of the next thing we're kind of go backtrack a little bit is, and I think kind of ties stuff together as well, is like, like you said, like earlier, you can learn a lot from, things you do online or just like from other people, but a lot of the stuff is like instinctual. Those are kind of the craft, I would say, of DJing, right? Other than like kind of that, kind of like of just like the skill set, what are like other ways people can really improve being a DJ? Specifically on like, I think you said like a mobile DJ, like someone who's going to gigs and doing, like a live performance kind of deal.
So, one thing I will say is that there's some challenges to being a mobile DJ. It's not like you're DJing a festival. You know what I mean? You gotta know like where to turn that on or turn it off, because everybody, like, you will get so many different gigs and so many different people and so many different atmospheres, and you have to be able to read it and know how to play in it. For example, right? Like I might be playing like a festival one day where it's like I can play more upbeat music and people will dance and have fun and stuff, right? But then I shift it. It's like it'll be a Saturday, right? I'm outside. I'm doing an open house. Totally different vibe. So you gotta know how to read the room. That's a term that DJs say a lot. You gotta know how to read the room. I think there's a lot of things that going into knowing how to read the room, and one of those things I think is having an immersive ear for music. Like I say, like I'm an electronic DJ. That's just because I want to be. I'm not really an electronic DJ if you think about it. I'm more open format, if anything. I gotta know how to go into a space and play whatever these people want to hear. That's what DJs get messed up with. They think it's about what you want to hear. It's not about what you want to hear. It's about what other people want to hear. So I think that's really one of the challenges with mobile DJing, because you don't, like, if you don't know the area, like I know the area where I'm DJing usually, and I know the people, so I can already assume like, okay, well, I can go and play some 90s. I can go play some R&B. I can go play some hip hop. I can play, this, that. I can play some, house music, and it'll all be like accepted, and people will be like, yeah, I like that. But if you don't know the area and you don't know the people, and you just show up and you're like, I'm gonna go play big room dance music, and I'm gonna go play like all these big drop bangers, like it's not gonna work, especially if you want to get booked again. Like I was gonna DJ at a coffee shop once, I wasn't able to do it because of some special conflicts. But like you'll get a wide variety of places you'll DJ at. One of the places I DJed at, for example, was like the Science Zoo in Minnesota. You got like little kids around, and you got to keep it clean and appropriate. You got to have people dancing, all that. You got to read the atmosphere. But I kept saying the word people, and that goes in the next thing. You got to network. You got to know people. One of the sayings that I know, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. People don't want to. I know like a lot of people want to say like, well, if I have this many followers on Instagram, I'll be able to do this and that. I'll be able to go there, this place and this place. I'll be able to get this gig and that gig. You got it all wrong, man. If you know this many people in real life on your toolbox that you can text, that you can hit up, that will have an event going on, and you can just go to their event and hang out and network with them for a little bit, then you'll be able to get those gigs. Because if I didn't know half the people I knew right now, half the gigs wouldn't have came to me. Just by that basic thing of networking. That's another thing. You got to put yourself out there. If you don't want to put yourself out there, then you don't want to be a DJ, because that's literally what you're doing when you're DJing. It's you, your DJ controller, and a room. Some music, and that's it. You're really putting yourself out there by doing that. I don't know how many people have joked about me, called me stupid, called me dumb. They say, oh, you're naive. I've had all that. So if you're not ready to hear all that, embrace all of that, then you're not ready to be a DJ.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So the next one, you obviously like you're not full grown adult by any means, me neither. So part of that really I find with entrepreneurship is you really have to know how to balance kind of your work life and school. One thing for me is like I do the whole landscaping, lawn mowing thing. And so like when the fall comes, like it depends, but sometimes in the fall I'm real like I don't got much free time. I'm busy, and it sucks because like I wanted to do things like play football, and it was something I just didn't know if I'd be able to do because of work. And so for you, how do you, are there any like tips or anything that you find that help you like really find that balance between, work and life and school?
Yeah, good question. So, in my family, my mom always told me this when I was young. School is number one. Nothing else comes until school happens first. So, I mean, ever since I was playing football, I mean, God, that's a job by itself. You have to really know how to manage, you know, like coming home, doing your homework, being organized, being playing, and all that kind of came with football. And then the DJing stuff came in like last year when I really took it seriously. I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do all of this and I'm going to need my mom to drop me off places, I'm going to need, you know, to take days off of work and be organized and be scheduled, I'm going to need to be attentive of the people around me's time, attentive of my time, and organized. So, number one thing I'll say to anyone who wants to pick up anything else in their life, whether it be entrepreneurship, et cetera, is that you got to be organized. Because another thing that will come into you when you have time is knowing how to value your time and knowing that your time is money. So like Ben, like for you to say like I don't want to play football right now, that's like you realizing like, well, you know what? Yeah, my time is money. So that's a second level thinking that you gotta get to eventually. But you gotta be able to manage your time. Because if you can't manage your time, then you're gonna be in a bad place. Because you're gonna be double booking yourself. I had a period of time where I would do that. I accidentally double book myself, and I wouldn't be organized. I wouldn't get enough sleep. That's another big thing about it. If you don't manage your day to days, then everything else will just fall apart. Yeah. So what I gotta say is that if you can't already manage your day to day, then I don't recommend starting something new. I don't, because it'll be too much, and you'll end up crashing. And you don't want to crash. It's not good. It's not fun.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something too that I've found that has been really helpful, and not even always just like with kind of that school work life balance, but also just like for my businesses, staying organized has lots of benefits. It sucks for me sometimes. Like I'll come home from going and mowing and I'm tired. I don't want to go and sit on the computer, but I sit on the computer and just like, write, make sure I take notes. I did this job, they pay, did they pay me or not, those kinds of things. And that's really helped, to keep keep all my business stuff, organized, and two, like setting a good schedule. Back when I first started, I didn't really have much. My schedule was very messy, and so really and it's been nice now having a license. It has, I think, helped, and just I've kind of learned as well, but really just like, keeping things organized so I know like, okay, this night, this week, I'll definitely be free. This night, I'll be free. Those kinds of things I think really help too. When you're going to have those periods to just like relax a little bit.
Yep. Another thing is like, you got to keep a calendar in some way, shape, or form. I don't care if it's on your phone. I don't care if you write it down. I've been slacking on my calendar recently. I haven't touched my calendar in a minute, but I'm going to get back on it now. But you got to keep a calendar, right? You got to keep your phone count, just some way where you can look and say, today I have this scheduled. Today I have this going on. Today I'm planning to go here. Because if you don't, again, you're gonna get double booked. You're gonna get confused, and you're gonna crash.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't keep your ties somewhere,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I've been I got a little like a planner thing, and that definitely helps too. Because I'll be texting different people like, okay, you want this done, but it's like if I had keeping that, sometimes it's easy to keep in your head, but other times you got more stuff going on. You got to get stuff written down. So exactly, I definitely agree. A calendar is a great tool to have. So another question I kind of had was about marketing. The first kind of topic of that is, for me personally, I kind of market myself, at least like on my website, in a way where it's like I'm a teenage entrepreneur, and kind of doing the lawn care thing is my way of expressing that. And so, at the same time, I do try, not that I try to be like super unprofessional by any means, but, I try and find that balance between, professionalism and kind of again, in the way that I market myself. I think the way that I market myself has been kind of successful for me in some ways. Like some people have, they're like, I really like the way you market yourself. Right. So for you, how do you find that kind of that balance between, do you go all out in the, I'm a professional, kind of way, or do you have a little bit of a balance, or how do you kind of market yourself in that perspective?
That's a good question. Well, I do, because of the fact that I do so many things with like technology, and I love Photoshop, and I love doing all these things creatively. I knew from the start when I started, like, I'm gonna do my best to have professional marketing. But and I'll tell you what that entails for me, what I see as professional marketing. So I wanted to create a brand and image for myself right away. Right away last year when I released my first song, I'm like, I need a brand, I need an image. Because if I don't have a brand and an image, and people aren't gonna know who I am, you're not gonna have that image that pops in their mind when they think about my brand or who I am. So of course I made my logo, and it was just basic, and it was perfect. I didn't want anything else that wasn't basic. I knew that if I wanted to add more to the brand later, it'll come. But for now, I just need a logo, right? So I did it. Basic MH logo. And MH actually stands for my initials, Marquan Harper. So I was like, perfect. I love it. This is great. As things started to develop more and more and more, I was like, oh dang. I'm like, I need to really capture this image and capture this brand. So I'm like, all right, I need to kind of come up with like my thing. Of course, like if you ask me what my thing is, it's dark minimalistic colors. It's pretty much black, white, and gray. You go on my website. I created my website. I think. Oh, I'm trying to remember when I created it. Oh, it was last year. I want to say May or like April, May. Hold on. Fact check. Quick fact check. I hate that. Oh God, when did I create it? It was April. Yeah, it was on my birthday. It was on my birthday. I came on my website. So on April 6th, I was like, I'm gonna really take this to the next level. I'm gonna put all my brand and images and all that into one place, which is my website. And it's worked great for me. I mean, the first, I think, month of it, coming out, I had a couple hundred site views, and the first day was amazing. It was like a big jump. A bunch of people went on it. I was really surprised. I was like, oh wow. But all that stuff, all that brand, all that image, I made a new alternative logo, all that stuff. It looks very professional. And most people had to ask me if I'm 16 or if I'm 25. They'd be like, oh yeah, you're a 25-year-old. But that's not where I'm trying to be right now. That's not where I want to be. I want to be 16. And the reason why I'll tell you that is because there's one thing that sets me apart from my competitors right now. And that's the fact that I'm 16.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any other. I know maybe one. I know maybe one other mobile DJ that's 16. But still, like, to think of like where I'm at, I don't know anybody else that's my age in Minnesota right now that does what I'm doing where I'm at my age. There's probably somebody, just haven't met them before.
Yeah.
But when people like, even I get this a lot, like when I'm talking to like grown adults, right? And we're having conversations about this and conversations about gigs. They're like, oh, well, how old are you? I'm 16. And they're like, you're 16? Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that oh, wow factor is great, because when we're seeing the great things you're doing and they know that you're young. And for me, even me, like being like a young black male, they're like, oh, wow. Like I want to book you. I want to invest in you. I see you have a future. I want to be a part of this. So that's why I think that you can still have that classy, minimal, branded look, right? But still be young and cherish the fact that you're young, because people will respect you for that.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. That's a good point too, is even if you do go kind of, I don't really go all out professional, but you go all out professional. And I think that definitely earns you some respect. Just having anything that, or even not even that, but it's just always, it's like having, good marketing, like, will definitely earn you respect, kind of no matter how you market yourself. If you're organized and your information is easy for people to find and read, and it's easy for people to contact you, things like that. I think those things definitely help us, especially as a teenager.
I've been able to network with like a lot of people that are already doing this, like the dance music stuff in the game, like people that are verified on Instagram and all that. I've been able to network with them just because of the fact that they see me and they're like, oh, wow, this kid's doing this. And, now I got connections with people that, are having dance songs of like notable artists. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I talked to that guy, So it's just kind of like, people really will respect you if you take stuff seriously.
Yeah.
And I'm a pretty serious person outside of like all my joking and being, lighthearted and not I'm a pretty lighthearted person, but behind the walls, I'm very serious. I don't really play around. I don't mess around with anything revolving my name, my image, and my brand, especially because I made that for myself,
Hmm. Yeah, I know. I definitely agree. Like it's something where like sometimes people don't always take it, like peers don't always take everything like super seriously because like not everybody's brain is wired in the same way, like especially like entrepreneurially, like sometimes like that's your thing, like I'm focused on this business and stuff. I think yeah, again, like some people don't always take that super seriously, but I think you have to kind of take yourself seriously, be like, this is who I am. This is my thing,
Right. If you don't take yourself seriously, who's going to take you seriously, right?
Yeah, exactly. So kind of another marketing kind of general question for you is do you use any like actual ads? One thing I've kind of been like learning a little bit is like Facebook ads, because at least for my kind of business, I feel like for like your service businesses where you're local, like sure, like growing on things like Instagram, TikTok, and all that is helpful, but oftentimes your audience is going to be on a national or global scale, and so that for like my business that doesn't apply. That doesn't, not that it's like bad to have, but so I find like social media, like using like things like Facebook ads, like they target your local area. Have you ever used those? Do you have any experience with that?
So I know a lot of people who have used ads, and I have thought about using ads, but I haven't. And not because I think ads are so bad or so negative. I just for I'm explaining to you. So um I for my like for what I'm doing right now. The thing about it is that I know that I'm good at marketing. So for my thing of I get scared about ads is to the point where like I'll do ads and I'll be in school or something like that. And I'll get to a place where I'm getting like people, oh, hey, let me book you, let me book you. I don't want all of that. I like to have a little bit more control over like my bookings and my schedule. Because if I have to, I don't want to go be turning down 15 people a week or,
Mhm.
even gets to that place. I don't want to be doing that. So the one good thing I have is that um more of an ads. Even if I did ads, I don't think ads would be what would cause me so much success. I think what a lot of people overlook, especially in my business, were like with what I do with like giving like you know services to where it's a one-to-one interaction and you're doing something, you get paid and you're done, right? Something like around the lines of that is that people don't understand how important word of mouth is. 100% of my gigs right now, all my testimonials, all of that has come to me basically because of word of mouth. Because like I have a client, for example, she says, "Oh, she says you're my DJ. You know, you're always my DJ." I had
Mhm.
someone else called another DJ in the area. He's older than me. I see him as a mentor. He said, "You're the new local community DJ." When you got these people coming around in the community saying, "Well, oh, you need a DJ, right? Oh, well, go to Marquan. Marquan, who's Marquan? Oh, here's Marquan. Here's his Instagram. Where okay, go on his website. Where I can get you on his phone number, right? I even funniest thing. I had this was last summer. I got a random call. I pick it up and I'm like, hello. I'm like, hello. Hi, is this Marquan Harper? I'm like, yeah. Hi, I'm with WFFU, and we have an event coming up this Saturday, and we need someone to do audio. I'm like, oh, I'm like, love to, but I'm not in a place where I can do audio right now. I just, told them that. I'm like, wait, hold on. I don't even know these people, right? So I'm like, who? I found out. I text somebody, hey, did you recommend me to somebody? Oh yeah, I did. It was just, I thought you might be able to do it. I'm like, oh okay. People talk. People talk. People talk more than ads you. So if you do good work, right? You keep good connections with people. you're not a bad person, you know what I mean? And you keep all those connections, like I was saying earlier, connections are so important. People will come to you. I'm at the place where like most of the things I do, I don't go out and I have to look for them. They usually come to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like makes it a little bit more effortless, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So my thing is that I'm not saying ads are ineffective. I might probably end up using ads this summer because I'm really working on my SEO and doing all these things around that on my website. And I've been, doing that for a while. I think I'm building it up slowly. I might end up doing ads, right? But I don't think ads are going to be the number one reason why I get gigs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be mainly because of the fact of me having that word of mouth
Mm-hmm.
and connecting with people and having someone that has used my services before say, okay, well, I recommend you to this person.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it all starts. And
Yeah.
for me, honestly, I could probably ask a lot of people. I think that's really all you need for the most part.
Yeah. No,
At
I
least for
definitely
me.
agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like word of mouth is super powerful, and it's something you can't always force. But I think if you do a good job, like social media ads, you can buy them. You can actually kind of influence it some way, and you can't
Right?
always super do that with word of mouth. Word of mouth, you gotta trust the process. But I definitely feel like word of mouth, it's so powerful because especially like you want clients. I guess I'm not sure how much it is a bigger deal in the world of like doing of DJing. You might go work for someone once or twice, but especially when I think about lawn care, you're interacting with that person every week, every couple of weeks, throughout kind of the year. And so having like a good client is really great. Someone who communicates well, they always pay you on time, things like that. And so I think especially when you get word of mouth, that person who you really like working for and working with goes and talks to someone. I feel like they're going to talk to their friend. Well, probably their friend is also going to be, I feel like, similar in that client, they're also going to be a good client for you. And so I
Exactly.
definitely think word of mouth is so important.
It's
So
almost like
great.
a chain reaction, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of
Mhm.
like you got one good client and they will tell you about another and they'll just keep going on.
Mhm.
Like for me to be 15 DJing at the Science Museum in Minnesota, like it didn't all come because I'm at that point. It wasn't all because I was so talented, or I was so this and that. It came because word of mouth,
Mhm.
and me being a good person, and me knowing somebody, and being in a place at the right time.
Definitely.
Simply how it starts.
Yeah.
Simply how it starts. So I mean, just when you do things, you know, always do them well.
Mhm.
Always do them well. Presentation is key because if you keep presenting yourself well, like they'll say, the money will come.
Mhm.
Just make sure everything else is ready because you
Yeah.
gotta be ready for the money when it comes.
Definitely. So kind of going to again with socials, but more organic growth. TikTok, Instagram, things of that nature, where you're just posting. Has that been something where I guess more so the question is, how has that worked for you? How has that went for you? It's something that I've always been like, oh, I should do, and then I might do it for like a day, a week or something, and then I stop. And I think for me, it's like it's kind of hard to pick up. I feel like picking up. I think once you get started, you get the momentum. It becomes easier to just keep posting content on socials. But how? Yeah. What's your experience with that been like? I guess is the question.
So what was it? Last summer, I was like, got to a place. I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna post a TikTok and an Instagram reel a day. I'm gonna try. It's gonna be my goal. Try to post a TikTok, Instagram reel a day. See how it works, Did a couple of them. They got decent amount of traction. A couple thousand. Like let me check. My first one I did. Um, let's see. Let's go back. So the first one I did got 6,000 views. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, like this, we can keep doing it, right? Keep doing them. 1,000, 800, 400, 1,000, 700, 500, 200, 2,000, 700, 7,000. You know what I mean? So with consistency, the algorithm will pick it up and they'll like it. But to more of a point, doing like short videos where content for your brand is amazing. It's the best organic growth for the most part you can get. Like, other than going out and just talking to people and finding people and getting them to follow you on Instagram and all that, this is such organic growth. Because if you do a video and one of your friends likes it, their friends puts it on their story, and then some of their friends put it on their story, and it's literally a chain reaction. They'll just keep going, and the more people see it, and then that's what you know, you got a viral video, you know.
Mhm.
But for me, for my brand, it's helped me so much. Because it for one, a lot of people see like, oh well, like, oh, Marquan really does do this. We're like, we're like, I don't know how to say it, like, oh, that's really cool. Well, you know, get people to comment on your stuff, get the engagement going. Like my pay, like just because of that, I gained like a lot. I gained like $100 over the summer, 200, or not over the summer. I mean, like in that period of time. But my Instagram, like my analytics are a lot better now because I did those videos. You know, my story views are higher. You know, I average like honestly like 161 story views, you know, for a day. And I'm like, that's not like crazy, but like for me to not post, I don't ever post on Instagram for the most part. So if I'm not posting on Instagram, right, and I'm just putting stuff in my story and people want to look at it, there's 161 people that I at least want to tap my little image icon and say, okay, let's look at what Marquan's doing. I think that's good, especially for me making music and you know, it works perfectly. But content doesn't just have to be videos and like Instagram reels and stuff like that. Like I want to start a radio show. Like, I want to start my own radio, almost like a radio mix series with like a little bit of podcast emphasis on like small interviews within the show. And I want to do that, not just so I can you know, just do it for fun. I want to do it because one, what if a client is like, well, I never heard you mix. Oh, you never heard me mix? Oh, I have a radio show. I mix on it weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. You should go check it out. Oh, wow. Where can I see this? Oh, well, if you go on my website and if you go here and if you, so you know, that's one reason. Two, it's a great way to boost organic growth to my SoundCloud. I think I could go do very well doing that. And three, it's a great way for me to network of other artists. You know, there's a lot of smaller artists that might be like, oh, well, I want to get my song on your show. How do I do that? Well, you can submit to my show by doing this, doing that. It's a great way to just do things. Also, what's better for a DJ to start learning how to radio DJ in your basement? Because then when I turn 18 or when I get to a place where I'm like more notable and there's like an actual radio station, like let's say like KMOJ or like K5 or something like that. It's like, hey, Marquan, we see what you're doing. You're a great local DJ. How about you come spin on our radio station for a little bit? So when you get to a place like that, you'll have the experience to just say, well, yeah, no biggie. Yeah, of course I'll come spin. So content curation is amazing. I'm 100% for it. You gotta do it right. And it doesn't take a lot of effort. You just gotta know what you're doing. There's a lot of strategies with it. But mainly, if you're doing something that people will like, or people will find that's like entertaining, it's perfect. Another thing is that now I see a lot more of music and things like that. People want to see the real you. They don't want to see the makeup and the, you know, perfect version of you. They want to see the real you. So if you're showing the real you, that's like my next thing with music. Like I'm not gonna worry about the streams anymore. I'm not gonna worry about how many plays I'm getting and how many playlists I'm getting on. I'm gonna worry about the storytelling and the imagery behind it. I think that's way more powerful than just saying, oh, well, I just got 10,000 streams in my release. Woohoo, right? So yeah, I think content creation is great. I recommend it to anybody who wants to start off. Because if you don't have a base, that's a great way to get the base. Base following.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And I think kind of piggybacking off of that, like the being, what's the word I want? Like being real. There's a word I want to use, but I can't. I don't know. It's lost.
Authentic?
But, yeah, authentic. Like that authenticity and like just being, you know, showing really you, I think is really growing in popularity on the internet. You know, like people don't want to see like, you know, the bullshit anymore. People, you know, they want to see, you know, kind of the real you. And so I think that's definitely true, you know, showing like um you know, showing the kind of the story behind, you know, a song or, you know, its message or whatever. I think that is also really, that kind of goes with that authenticity and just showing yourself and showing who you are.
Exactly. I agree. Because when I grew up, well, not when I grew up, that sounds like I'm old. I'm not old. But when I was like younger and I really was getting into dance music, I would like watch like the Zed Beautiful Now music videos and all that type of stuff. And like the amount of storytelling that went into like, I feel like dance music back in the golden age, I call it the golden age of dance music, when it was, you know, just hitting mainstream and everybody was like, what is this? So I think the storytelling was way more powerful. Like the music videos, I can secrets. Like, oh my god, I'm just rambling now. But like certain EDM songs and their music videos, and it was just like the storytelling and the euphoria. Like it felt real. And now like music videos, I feel like they're falling off. Where music videos and the storytelling of music and all that is just falling off. It's just not the same. It's just the same old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that using that as an example, like with like marketing, you know, I think a lot of people are starting to notice that people just want to see real you for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's a hard thing to come across on social media.
Yeah.
But if you're able to be vulnerable enough to show the real you, the people, like for me to see it, they'll want to book me, for example, right? Because I'd be like, well, this kid is actually like a real kid, and he experiences real things, and he's really just trying to start his own business, and all. They'll see me for that, not for, oh well, he's won this award, where he, you know what I mean, where stuff like that. That's kind of like, well, like okay, like
Yeah.
cool, but you know, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Artificial things.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. They build that kind of connection, you know, as if they know you, and you know, maybe they don't super, you know you in person,
Exactly.
but they do kind of know
Exactly.
you in a way. And so they're going to be, you know, like more trusting and
Exactly.
just, yeah. So kind of last couple things here. Is there anything else that you you know, whether it's, you know, DJing or music or business, that you just, you know, when you want to talk about, you want to share to people who are listening, anything along those lines?
I had it was an elementary school counselor. I told her, they're like, so what do you want to do when you grow up? You know, I was like, oh, I want to be the CEO of Microsoft. She was like, oh, well, you're not gonna be able to do that. You don't know, that's unrealistic, and this and that, this and that, this and that. I want to just say, like, to anybody who's watching this, or anybody who has like an idea and a goal for something and they want to go do it, don't let anyone tell you what you can do. Don't. It's so overrated. Don't let others tell you what you can be, what you can do. It's overrated and it's dumb. Don't. It's dumb. It really is. Because if you're going to let someone else tell you what you're capable of doing, then you're probably not ready to do that anyways. Because you're gonna let someone else's no one, for me, like for anything I do, other people's opinions don't matter. I don't care. I really don't care. I've had so many people tell me about, like, well, your song sounds too compressed, or your mixing isn't, or this is I get it. Like, it's feedback, right? But at the same time, like, I'm releasing it on this day. Are you gonna put it on your channel or not? So, you know, I just, when you love something, don't let anyone take away from your love for that. I love this so much. You don't understand how much I love this. Like, I would, you know, I know DJing is kind of like a dream job, you know? Like, if you tell somebody, like, oh, well, when I grow up, I want to be a DJ, kind of like, oh, what do you mean? Like, I remember when I was a kid and I watched, I'm still a kid, but when I was a younger kid, I would watch like these big music festivals like Ultra Miami in 2015 and 2016. And I saw the big stage of all the lights, and I was like captivated. I was like, what? Like, I want that. I know that's even second level thinking. And like, I'm not even there yet, right? But my goal is to be there eventually. you know. But I watch these festivals and I'm like, whoa, if these people can do it, right? Sure enough, I can do it too, right? It's gonna take a lot of hard work. It's gonna take a lot of discipline. It's gonna take a lot of, you know, studying. And I say studying in a way of like studying your craft,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what to do it. But if anyone can get there, sure enough, I think I can get there. And sure enough, if you have a goal and you have a dream and you have a desire, sure enough, you can get there. So don't let anyone tell you what you can do, because I think that's kind of dumb. And really just really, if you have a dream, you have a goal and a desire, do it. Simply do it. If it takes time, it takes time. Work hard at it and just do it. Because like Nike, right? Just do it.
Yep.
So what's the worst? What's the worst if you do it and you fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure enough, I failed. Try again. I'll try something else. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, you fail, and you have that knowledge from that experience,
Right.
And so you're going to be better off the next time going and
Right.
starting again.
So you can get back up and you'll be ready for the next thing.
Definitely.
Oh man.
All right. Well, kind of where can people find you, man? If they want to learn more about you and your story, or they just want to, follow you, where are you at?
Well, I'll show you guys my hub for everything is my website. It's a interesting link, but it's perfect for what I do. It's mharper.xyz. I'll say it out. Excuse me. mharper.xyz. XYZ meaning like I do XYZ things. I do a lot of things. My Instagram is at m_harper06. You can search me up on Spotify if you want to. Search up MH and search up like my song Fly. It's my really most recent song. But just check out my website. You can really get to there's a passage about who I am if you want to learn who I am more. Yeah, that's it. This is a great talk. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
no, it really was. This is like my first like proper interview. I feel like it went really well. So I'm really glad that we were able to have you on. Yeah, that's pretty much that's like all I've got really. So to you guys at home, I hope you guys enjoyed watching and listening to what Marquan had to say. I think he definitely brought me some different insights. I don't really know a lot about I know a little bit some things about like music, but I don't know a lot about DJing and stuff. And so I think it's definitely been some good insights and information. So anyways, I hope that you guys did enjoy. I'll be back next Tuesday for another episode, of course. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next one.
Peace out, y'all. That was fun. I like that.